All right, welcome back, Bulldog football fans, to this episode of Bulldog Blitz. I'm Heath Conaway, sitting alongside co-host Paul Davidson, and this time, assistant coach Red.
Right.
Nice to have you on here, Coach. All right, let's do a little recap of last week and then a little insight to a team we've already played once this season, Malden. We'll be playing them, I guess, tonight when this airs at 7 o'clock, but in our turn now, it's Friday. So, but all right.
Happy Halloween.
That's right. Happy Halloween. All right, Mr. Davidson, give us a recap of, I guess, New Madrid.
Last week, we just started off, both teams started off with a bland start. I think it was just the playing on Thursday just got everybody kind of short week, playing on Thursday. Just first really cold game. Just everybody was slow to start. The first really big thing that happened was Braden Jeffries. He got a sack that forced a New Madrid County Central turnover on downs. Then penalty stall our second offensive series that we kind of have. There's a muff punt that ends up going back in the hands of New Madrid, if I remember right. And then Portageville forces another turnover on downs thanks to a Parker Babb sack, and that caused the New Madrid to have their second turnover on downs. Then we got our first kind of good series going.
Yeah, we got a little spark there.
There in the second quarter.
Here comes the Ember, is what I called him.
JB3, Jack Bell, he had a 37-yard reception that was then capped off by a 19-yard touchdown reception by Parker Babb to make it 7-0. And then smash mouth football. Deuce runs a 39-yard run to set up a 3-yard touchdown to make it a 14-0 game as we go into the half. And then we just have the most bizarre third quarter that we've had in the way. Mr. Matt Hendricks always says that rivalry games, being a number of big college football fans, rivalry games should be a little bit on the turnt side of just things are kind of weird just to begin with. And the third quarter was a definition of that. We had a stalled drive. We had every single penalty you could possibly imagine. It was just genuinely a funky quarter. But then we have a goal line fumble. New Madrid had a 3-and-out. And then finally, the floodgates opened up. Brody Warren scores a 4-yard touchdown to make it a 21-0 game. We recover an onside kick. James Shalley scores a touchdown to make it a 27-0 game. He scores again to make it a 34-0 game. We got a shout out.
But I will say, in between the Shalley touchdowns, we had another Jack Bell reception that gave us that momentum to put Shalley in that position.
Oh, nice. We did. But we were able to secure the shutout in the rivalry game in what I call the Battle of New Madrid County. Coach Red asked me Friday, I believe, after the game, we need to come up with a traveling trophy that we kind of hand back and forth between the schools. So if any of you out there in Radio Land have a idea of what we could do, make sure you mention it in the comments.
Or make us one.
One. My suggestion of us playing over Marston probably is not going to go well for the people of Marston, but I think they'd be happy being North Portageville.
Yeah, we need to make up some kind of jug, some kind of figurine or something like that we can trade off with one another. In football, maybe even in other sports too.
Basketball
is a great rivalry game.
All right. So we've got assistant coach Red here. Coach Red, what's your coaching responsibilities and teaching responsibilities here at Portageville?
Teaching-wise, I teach social studies along with Mr. Norman, and I teach world history. Got a section of American history and some geography. And football-wise, I'm the special teams coach, and I handle all the special teams responsibilities, and I also coach the offensive line and defensive line.
Now, I will say you had both Paul and I.
Yes.
In school.
Been around for a long time.
So if I would have known it was you, I'd have worn mine, or at least brought it up here. I don't think I can fit into it anymore. But my juggernaut shirt that we had when you was that's back in the days.
Yes, sir.
Juggernauts. Unstoppable moving force, man. All right. So what is something you've learned from all the different coaches you've coached under?
Man,
you even held the head coaching position.
Yes,
here.
I was at one time for about 3 years. I was the head coach, and to be honest, during that time, I was way too young to be a head coach, but I didn't know as much as I do now. But I've been blessed to be under a lot of great coaches during my time here at Portageville, and I've learned a lot from them. We'd be here forever if I mentioned everybody.
So you're alumni from what year?
I graduated in 1997.
1997.
Portageville High School. And I actually got coaching in here really right after high school. I kind of stuck around and hung around the school and hung around the team some. And I can't remember the exact year, but I kind of earned more responsibilities here over time under Coach Freeman. And I can't remember exactly what year it was, but I eventually became kind of the offensive line coach here. And man, coached with some great guys. You know, I learned a lot about toughness from Coach Apple.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, you kind of took the lineman coach responsibility over from Coach Apple.
Yeah. So I learned a lot from Coach Apple, you know, about playing the offensive game on the line and how to be tough enough to play in the trenches like that. Because being an offensive lineman, it's not an acquired thing. I mean, you've got to be born to be an offensive lineman, right? It's not for everybody.
It's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. You got to be willing not to get any credit. You got to be not wanting no spotlight. You got to be down and dirty, getting rough and tough and pinched and poked and all kinds of rough stuff goes on in there. And you get none of the glory for that stuff, you know. But that job is so crucial for the team, you know, and it takes a special kind of person to play that. And I learned a lot of that from Coach Atwell, you know. Of course, we coached under Coach McKay, great coach. You know, of course, he's a Hall of Fame coach, you know. And I think the best thing I learned from him was that no matter what team you got to play your best 11.
Absolutely.
Okay? No matter
Absolutely.
what. Okay, whoever the best 11 athletes are, they have got to be on the field somehow, some way, you know. And he also taught me that you always have to prepare to play without your best player, because at some point that best guy is going to go down. What are you going to do? All right, so you always got to have plans for that.
Kind of reminds me of, like, I think you were in the weight room that morning whenever we were, whenever I was lifting. I remember Coach McKay saying this. He always said that you always have to expect that a player is going to disappoint you. But at the very same time, there's going to be a player that you don't expect that steps up and does what they need to do that surprises you.
That is very true. Every year there's always a surprise that comes out, you know, and somebody that steps up that you didn't think would, or somebody who develops better than you thought they would. And every year's like that, you know, and so I learned a lot from him that way. Just to give a couple other coaches out there, can't go through them all. You know, of course, we had Coach Bullock. He was here for a while, you know, and I learned a lot about how to deal with players through Coach Bullock. Okay, if I could label Coach Bullock, he'd be the players coach.
He is definitely a players coach.
He's a players coach, and learning from him that, you know, every player is different. You know, there's not just a single kind of football player.
Right.
All football players come from all walks of life, from all different economic backgrounds, you know, and each one has different things going on in their lives. You can't treat everybody the same, you know, and every kid has to be not necessarily treated different, but you have to approach them differently.
Right.
You know, because of their background, how they live, where they come from, and things like that. So I learned a whole bunch of that from Coach Bullock, and he was a great guy to be around, fun guy. I learned how to have fun coaching football with Coach Bullock. He was a great guy to be around, you know.
So his thumbprints are still felt on this school. A lot of kind of funner elements that we do here as a school can harken back to his ideas that he would kind of bring in.
Oh, yes. And I can also mention a couple other guys. Coach Wallace.
Absolutely.
Haas.
Coach Wallace. Of course, everybody knows him from baseball, right? But Coach Wallace, he coached football. Man, I learned a lot about sticking to details about things. Details are important when you're coaching stuff, you know. It's not just going out there and just running stuff. It's not just going there, hey, go block that guy.
Right.
I mean, there's fine points and techniques that you got to teach kids to make them better. And once they learn those fine points, they become better athletes that become better, for me, better linemen, or they become better running backs, better receivers. And so I learned a lot about coaching the details from Coach Wallace. And of course, can't go through everybody, but not too long ago we had Coach Penrod, Coach Hampton over here, and I learned a ton from those guys. Of course, those guys are a lot younger than me. They had a lot more pep in their step than I just.
I remember when you had pep in your step, Coach.
I used to have pep in my step. Now I kind of lumber around everywhere now. But those guys, I really learned about building a program from those guys, and especially how to manage things in practice-wise, and learning how to approach the game, I learned a lot from off-season workouts for those guys. It's not just season starts, now let's go.
Right.
In football especially, the season starts a week after the season's over. I mean, you got to start planning. You got to start thinking. You got to start thinking about your players and where they're going to be at. You got to start thinking about what kind of offense we're going to switch to, what kind of defense we're going to switch to. You got to start thinking about, what does it take to run that kind of offense and what kind of techniques we're going to have and start planning that stuff out and then implementing that stuff over the spring into the summer, into
The weight programs
and the weight program, all that stuff. And so I learned a lot from those
bigger,
guys.
faster, stronger.
Mm-hmm. We were at back in the day, better, faster, stronger. For sure.
All right, so I think we're at the point now where we can invite our star guest.
Finally.
As much as we appreciate Coach Ray coming on, and he is the man, the myth, the legend.
That's right.
I know what you all have been waiting for. You have all been waiting for the two people that have constantly been shouted out on this show. You've heard us talk about them on the radio, even though they're not really getting much playing time. They still get the inches in the newspaper columns. We're talking about the problem and the solution. We're talking about Kole Dodd and Jaxson Harper.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Come on in.
All right, welcome to Bulldog Blitz. Can you first start off by telling us your name, your positions, and your grades?
Jaxson, Harper, guard, and we stack to the
Kole Dodd, wide receiver and DB, 10th grade.
All right, so
Sophomores.
both of them are sophomores. They are both located. They sit right next to each other in my class.
20 minutes. Okay.
Yes. So you got to tell us, because everybody wants to know, what is the origins of the nicknames, the problem and the solution?
The Coach Ratio called him problem last year.
Um,
I think it's called Bible Coach Valid Code Solutions here. So some like there.
I just worked out.
Yep.
Just clicked and it's like, hey, the problem and the solution.
Yep.
Bam.
I think we got a play name that's called defense, like choke.
The first day of school, I go around because I don't know any of the sophomores' names, so I ask them their name and I ask if they have a nickname or anything, expecting like if you're called William, you really want to be called Will. But these two, as soon as I say it, they say Kole Dodd, the problem, Jaxson Harper, the solution. And I was like, that's really what they call you in the entire class. Just around and said, yes, that's what you refer to them as. So you two are the people behind the meme. I will be standing in the hallway and I will just hear people shouting "Smash Mouth Football" in the hallway. I'll see it written on wide array sports throughout the school. Smash Mouth Football. Heck, I forced y'all to write the VFW essay about what makes you a patriot, and both of you talked about how playing Smash Mouth Football is how you show your patriotism for this country. So we have to ask.
I like that a lot.
What does Smash Mouth Football mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, people think it's just a lifestyle, like, ground and 3.5 yards against the mid. It's really a lifestyle. To play, to carry from day to day taps, and just do it all the time.
Should basically sum it up.
If I could add to that, guys, all right, Smash Mouth Football is all about attitude. It's a
Hard-nosed.
hard-nosed attitude. So it's about how you carry yourself, how you approach what you're doing, right? And knowing that whatever happens, right, no matter what happens, I'm going to come back the next play.
Right. Get it back up, do it again.
It's not just a lineman type of thing. You'd think it would be all the only lineman. Not. Mr. Kole Dodd here is a wide receiver and a defensive back, and he lives the smash mouth football.
That's where the
lifestyle
lifestyle
as
is.
well.
Unstoppable. Just
Unstoppable.
do it again.
Moving force. That's what smash mouth football is.
So it doesn't have to be to a game. It can be a part of the game if you want. But what is probably your favorite memory from this football season so far?
Playing against Malden. Got good everybody, but played a few plays. But they were fun.
Cole?
I'm gonna have to say the new Madrid game when I started, and we beat them 34-0, like we always do.
All right. And players of the week. You can't. Who are you going to name as the player of the week for the Portageville Bulldogs from last week?
Cannot be yourself.
It can't be yourselves.
Brody Warren and Portageville. And Tiago.
Tanner went, I think.
He was 4 for 5.
4 for 5. Right? Brody, of course, scored a touchdown. He made a lot of tackles. Cole, who are you saying is the player of the week?
I'm gonna have to give it to Jacob.
Hey,
Jack Bell.
hey. And I even said that on air. Like he provided that spark a few different times, made that long pass, a long catch, and it was just like, all right, we're back in position. We can keep going.
He was the straw that stirred the drink this past
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't harp on that enough.
All right. And last but not least, this is the part where you have invaded the Bulldog Blitz every single week, week in and week out. Now it's finally your turn. You got to repay the favor, I guess. Who are you giving your shout outs to?
Styles me. I like Gavin Trophy. Tanner, Brody Warren, Test Wood,
Terrence Boyd.
Yep.
I'll have to give it to Brody listed.
Prout.
All right. No relation there. All right.
All right. This week we have Malden again.
Twice.
Earlier this season, back in week 6, we beat them 56-0 at their house. This has not been the best season for Malden. They are 0-9. They lost 61-0 to Dexter, 61-0 to Crutherville, 48-14 to Charleston, 50-14 to Donovan, 48-6 to Scott City, 56-0 to us, as I just mentioned, 42-8 to Madrid County Central, Veritas Christian Academy, 27-18, and then Heath last week.
I will say though, even though those scores are, lopsided, Malden has a very, very young team. They are in some rebuilding years. They lost a boatload of seniors last year. The year before, that was juniors. It's just Portageville's been there before.
Oh, yeah.
We've had to rebuild from the bottom, and then 4 years later we start having some productions. We see.
And anytime we encounter a team like this, whenever we're calling the game on air, we always have to give our flowers to those kids on the other side who are playing for that 0-9 team that are still coming out and they're there to play. They're the ones who are keeping the program alive. They're the ones who are putting in the work. And so no shame in it's not the outcome that you want. There's no shame in it. You're still going out there. You're still playing ball. You're still trying to make the best of it. So, Coach Red, this is the second time that we're playing this team. How are you and the coaching staff keeping the players from looking ahead to next week, especially how one slip up means the season is completely done?
Well, that's the thing about our district play. We used to do districts a lot different football.
Yep.
Where we had districts at the end of the season.
Yep.
Last 3 games of the season. Now,
7 or
now
8,
you
9,
have
10.
the regular season. Now the district time is really 1 loss and you're done. Okay, so for Malden, they got their guys are getting a lot more experience. Watching film, they're changing up some stuff, and so who knows, right? For us, you could say that this is going to be an easy win for Portageville. I never approach it that way.
Right.
Those guys have athletes. They're getting more experience every week that they play. And for us, the thing we got to avoid as a team is this trap game, as I like to call it. Sometimes you get into a game where you think you're supposed to win, and then something bad happens, and then players start trying to overdo things. They try to start doing other people's jobs, and then you get penalties, and you get fumbles, and all of a sudden
And beat
it's a
themselves
close.
up.
They're beating themselves up, and all of a sudden it's a closer game than what's supposed to be, and then everybody starts fighting each other, and then all of a sudden it just tanks and goes to crap, and you wind up losing those kind of games. And so for us, it's not really focused on what Malden's doing. It's more focused on what are we doing. Are we running the right plays that we need to run? Are we, for me, I focus on blocking. Are we blocking the right way? Are we keeping tempo like we're supposed to? Are we limiting our mistakes like we're supposed to be, not getting all those penalties and things like that? And so just staying true to who we are and what we need to do as a team, is the most important thing this week. And then at the end of the day, the game's going to play out like it plays out. If best team's going to win, I feel like we have the best team. I feel like we have the best team every week. I plan on winning every week. You don't ever play a week to lose, okay? But, Malden, for me, it's not one of those games where, I'm just looking for the next 3 games on the schedule. You want to make sure that you execute like you're supposed to execute. You want to play the game, play it out like it's supposed to be, and just beware of those trap games and just play hard and get through the game the best that you can.
Well said. Well, hopefully you'll be seeing us tonight at about 6:50-ish here on Halloween. Trick or treat, by the way. If you are out trick or treating and you don't have to come to the game here in Portageville, you can stay out trick or treating and you can listen to us on AM 1050, 103.9 FM. You can listen to us on the I believe you can also listen to us on the KTMO app, but you can also listen to us on the KMIS app.
Right.
You can listen to us at Sports Radio KMIS.com. You can pull us up on YouTube. You can listen to us on Facebook. I believe on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Just keep a lookout for everywhere. And if you are in search of Bulldog football, you should be able to find it. Actually, take that back. This is a Misha broadcast.
Yes.
So you will not be able to see the video.
Just check out. Just follow. If you're following our page, we'll have all the information.
You'll still be able to hear the broadcast. You just won't be able to see the video.
Okay, that might be.
Unless you're paid. Yes.
Yeah.
But you can still listen to us, so don't worry about that. We're still there. You just won't be able to see the video due to the Mission paywall. But if you want to watch it, go to mission.tv and go from there. I believe they have a Roku app that you can also download and utilize too.
Yep, I think I have it on my TV.
All right. But until next week, my name has been Paul Davidson.
I'm Heath Conaway.
Coach Red.
Go Dodd.
Yes.
You've been listening to the Bulldog Blitz here on Sports Radio KMIS.
Go Dogs.